Like I'm tripping balls, chalk me down.
Yeah. You're like the Freddy's version of
Let's go get
Scary
some fucking.
Movie
Let's go
where
to
he gets high.
7-Eleven. Get
Yeah.
a hot dog. This one looks like my dick.
Put some mustard on it. Yeah. Put it in your mouth.
Slurp it.
Gross.
Get some relish in there.
Sweet relish or
Whatever relish they have.
Is there a different relish?
Get some jalapenos.
It's not
and
all
some
sweet
chili.
relish?
Get some chili.
I don't know. I don't like
Get some chili in a funnel and pour it in my ass.
This is Jason Patrick. Welcome to the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Welcome back to Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Frog Bros Podcast presents Haunted by Tapes. Tonight we are talking about the masterpiece. Not necessarily, it really depends on what you think, but Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors from 1987. I remember seeing this as a kid, like pretty young, and I remember watching a lot of this one. This is like the first one I watched on cable and like got all the way through because I thought it was cool that
I feel like the first three just played constantly on cable.
yeah, but I felt like this one was
I saw them on like when my parents upgraded and got like HBO and Cinemax and stuff, and they'd play them.
That's something we always had. We always had HBO and cinema.
Our parents had rented this one, and like I remember coming out of bed, like seeing the opening of it, and then my mom being like, "This is a Freddy movie. You better get back in bed." And so like I
Freddy
saw
movie.
like the girl building Freddy's house like at the opening sequence, and I was like, "Fuck this," and like went back to bed. And then years later, I watched it. I was like, "Okay, that's the one I saw," because like they're doing the paper mache stuff. Pretty cool.
This opens up with an Edgar Allan Poe quote, which I always liked: "Sleep, these little, those little slices of death.
How
I
I
loathe them." Classic. It was hard as fuck to read on the VHS.
Oh yeah.
on your little.
I didn't watch. I have one in my bedroom too. I watched it in there.
So if you're wanting to watch this, you can stream it free on Tubi right now. If you don't have a copy of it or have somewhere on paid cable.
You know who did the score for this? Angela motherfucking Badalamenti.
I know, that's so beautiful, isn't it? That's a great, great thing. Love it.
Twin Peaks and David Lynch fame is a bunch of stuff, really, but that's where he is in my heart.
And there's a few cues to the original score in here, just enough for you to be like, okay.
They have the original like main theme in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't overdo it, and they do something new with it, which I really liked. And I just fucking love his music anyway.
Yeah.
You got the Congo figures on the wall, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus, Murphy.
Nick's over here, just not knowing anything about anything besides knocking toys down.
He's about to
I'm
knock
pretty sure
down again.
Godzilla
You
fell
need-
down by himself.
You need to position him better. Like his legs need to move.
I got a tripod action going on with his tail
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, she does the popsicle stick house. That's always fun, huh?
I remember
That
doing
paper
that in
mache
school.
opening, yeah.
Then yeah, she's in a dream.
I feel like that's an awesome prop replica we could make to put in the video store.
Popsicle Freddy's house.
Have the light come on.
Fuck yeah.
Like the
Amazing.
end of the movie. Rip. Spoiler alert. Yeah, the jump roping in the fucking dream, and that imagery comes a lot from this one too. It's fun. And then she's trying to save this little girl in this dream, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm worried about myself. This is my dream.
Yeah.
I didn't say on anybody
That's
else.
the one interesting bit about this is they don't really explain that why she's trying to help somebody else, but I mean, I think it's
No, and then put me down. You're hurting me. And it's a fucking corpse. I love that. That's fun though. That's worth it for that bit.
and that's Patricia Arquette portraying Kristen.
Yep.
I figure we should throw that out there. This is one of her earlier roles.
Who gets recast in the next one?
Wow.
And she also is in another movie that Angelo Badalamenti did the score for, Lost Highway.
Yeah. I like the little girl's like freaking out. And he says, "This is where he takes us." She gets stuck in the tar trying to run away from him, which I thought was pretty interesting because it was a fresh take on the running up the stairs or the stairs falling apart, but kind of that same concept. So it's familiar but fresh, you know?
Yeah. Well, then she gets to wake up and see the razors and her mom sees that she's using the razors on her wrist, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill Maher comes in and
Yeah.
does a rant on Muslims for about 20 minutes and then
Yeah.
Really takes you out of the film.
talks about, then he moves back onto the dream stuff.
It was before 9/11.
So, like, you know, you normally just call him Freddy Krueger, and so in my notes here, just because I was, like, just doing shorthand, I just wrote Fred every time. I was like, Fred. I feel like I'd call him Fred. I wouldn't call him Freddy, you know, if I was having a conversation with him.
If
Like,
you
all
were
right,
fri- if
Fred.
you were
Fred,
friend-
listen, man.
Yeah, Fred, man, this just isn't working out for me.
This isn't like you, man.
Yeah, you're not you when you haven't had a Snickers. Try this.
Zip.
Chocolate flavored.
I joke, I kid you not, as a kid, when mom and dad would make hot dogs on the grill. Just wait a second.
Freddy
hold on.
penis.
That's what I thought of every time. I was like, must be what Freddy Krueger's dick looks like.
And then years later, that becomes a meme where
Did
it's
you
this
say that
own
out
thing
loud?
of like the burnt wieners.
No, I didn't say it out loud. I knew how insane it would sound for a child to say that if I said it out loud. My parents would be like, "We're taking you to therapy."
Well, they
But that's what's my thought.
Well, they tried family therapy for us, and
Yeah, they said. I remember the only thing I remember is they wanted us to draw ourselves in a happy place. Guess where I drew myself?
And Freddy's,
in a coffin.
No, but that'd have been awesome. Then we'd have had so much more fuckery happen if I did that.
Yeah.
was it
I
Freddy?
drew myself sitting in a couch, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm watching TV." You can't see the TV because it's from the perspective of the TV.
Yeah. What are you doing? Watching TV.
That's what I like to do, bitch. Like, what? What do you mean?
Not much has changed.
Exactly. So then Bill Maher's trying to sedate her, and she's like, "No!"
She puts up an epic fight. I fucking love that fight scene in there. She's like flipping out. Brah!
Yeah. They go to group therapy, and then she's like singing the song, and you get Nancy's triumphant return where she gets to finish the end of the sentence.
Yeah, and Dr. Gordon's fucking being a dick about her being hired. What are her credentials?
They recall this scene in Freddy vs. Jason with another person showing up and finishing the end of the
yeah.
poem thing.
Which makes sense because obviously this is the Hypnosills
Exactly.
origins. So
You get Larry Fishburne.
yeah, I love his crediting for that. And you're like, huh?
Larry.
And he's not bad in this. You know,
He's like,
an earlier.
I'm Cuba Gooding Jr.'s dad in Boys in the Hood.
And they're like a year apart or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then they introduce you to Philip, who sleepwalks, and
Yep.
Kincaid. And let me tell you, Joey is one horny motherfucker.
Well, you can't forget the nun though. Gordon sees the nun when they're outside after he discovers Nancy's Hypnosil.
Is that Bill Maher?
Yeah,
I
Bill Maher.
think he's just Bill Maher in my notes.
Dr. Gordon, and his first name's Neil.
Dr. Gordon.
That reminds me of Saw. I just watched
Neil
that
Page,
recently.
everybody.
Let me talk about this, though. Joey is horny as fuck. He's, like, trying to bang this nurse. Like, it's almost creepy.
I mean, he's a teenage boy, and then there's an attractive nurse in there. I get where he's going, and he's trying to get what's available to him, but they hype it up a little bit much.
Yeah, it's a little. The trike melting, that's fun, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's all right, I guess. I don't know. I just had a note of the trike melting because it's an interesting effect, I guess.
And then Dr. Gordon researches Hypnosil on the old internet.
Yeah. The old interweb.
Sure, was it the internet or was it like an encyclopedia CD-ROM or something?
I don't think they would have had information.
It would have been
on
a
an
very
experimental
early
drug.
version of the internet, but yeah, like a early consumer use anyway. And he's at a
Not
hospital,
even
so that's why he
consumer,
has
yeah,
access.
I was going to say early access for like education and medical.
Medical, yeah.
Yeah.
We've had computers and internet since what was that?
Encarta.
Yeah.
The Dreamhouse set. The Freddy Snake, though,
That is fucking dope.
love that shit.
And then we find out Kristen Mom's kind of a fucking crazy asshole, and she's wealthy, so she's got that going for her, which is pretty nice.
Nancy wakes up and then can hear like Kirsten, and she falls into her chair and falls into the dream. And then Leonardo DiCaprio shows up and is like, wait, no, that's the wrong movie.
I love the living rug though. Before Freddy is the snake version, like the whole scene where the walls blow out. Like that's pretty well done. I thought it was a fun little scene.
I just wrote down like the real highlights for things like that because the snake to me was like the highlight of all of that. Like that was the first really dope thing I've seen in this movie so far. But this movie has a couple things like that. So
There's not as this movie. I always felt like there's a lot more Freddy in it than there really is.
yeah, I mean, watching it back, it is a lot. 2 is fucking way better, man.
Yeah, Freddy's Revenge is pretty on point. Now there's stuff I really enjoy about this, but it's also like So
They go to group therapy. The guy in the wheelchair is named Will.
Will Stanton, he tried suicide by jumping off a high rise.
Jennifer is a hopeful actress who's TV obsessed and likes to put out cigarettes on herself. Well, why don't we welcome Jennifer to the stage? I felt like I was doing a Jerry Springer intro.
This movie does a pretty good job of explaining everything in the dialogue, so that's why there's like so much less Freddy, because it really explains like, hey, I used to live in that house when Nancy's talking to Kirsten and everything.
Get some D&D action here.
Yeah. You know what
Drugs
I love?
and dick.
Is this the first movie where they show Freddy's house all old and decrepit and like hasn't like it's been sitting for 50 years when it's only been like a year or two since part 2?
Yeah, because in part 2, it's Freddy's Revenge because they move in that same house after Nancy's family moves
5
in.
years later.
Yeah.
But this isn't 5 years after 2, right?
No, I don't think so.
The house looks like it's been abandoned for decades.
Well, that's in a dream world, too. I think that's just a
Yeah.
weird thing. We don't know if it looks like that in reality, I guess.
I mean, we've been to the real house, but that's not what it looks like now.
No.
Nancy and the doctor talk about Hypnocil, and he's like, no, absolutely not. Fuck off. And then
The fucking claymation Freddy
the
doll.
Beth... This has been the breast breakfast.
The breast breakfast.
Exactly. No, it's
Breastfast.
It's
Breast
the
fest?
best death scene in the movie, I
Breast
think.
breakfast?
Yes.
Is
I love
Philip
the scene.
getting fucking, like, his veins and tendons ripped out and
like
used
a
as a
puppet.
strings.
Well, yeah, you see this little, what do they call it? Is that a marionette? Is
Yeah.
that what they call those dolls? And you see it climb down. It's like all Godfather, like, we're going to control this thing.
Turns into Freddy, the first puppet that comes down, the claymation Freddy one, which is dope, too.
Yeah, I love that.
That shit's claymation's so creepy.
It looks so good. It's so unsettling, though. You know,
They
works.
really captured his face. It worked well.
Yeah, because it slowly like morphed into it. I'm like, yeah. Give me more.
Here's where this shit gets foggy, though. In terms of the rules of the dream world and
Yes.
what Freddy can and can't do, because he's slicing this guy up and he's not getting sliced up in reality. His tendons and veins are not pulled out in reality. He's using that to puppeteer him and make him jump off a building.
So
Is he doing that on purpose? Because I feel like you could have just killed him right there if you sliced him up and then made him do that. I don't understand, because Freddy's Revenge also has some weird shit where Freddy's all of a sudden at that party
Yeah.
and shit like that, but like...
Well, in Freddy's Revenge, it feels like it's a possession of him, and that's
yeah.
kind of the vibe here. And in this one, it seems like he doesn't want to get caught or doesn't want anyone to stop him, so he's having him commit suicide, so he's being more subtle about it.
I guess if
They
it's
don't outright
it's one of those
explain that,
just
but-
weird things I noticed.
It is, yeah.
So Freddy controls whether or not you're injured in real life.
I guess. I mean, that's the only way you can work around this. Or unless you want to say he's not strong enough to do that.
Yeah, which is kind of what they imply in Freddy versus Jason, right?
Yeah.
So it does circle back to a lot of these things, but it's all implied. There's no, like, definitive...
Freddy in the sky, though, with the puppets and then cutting the strings is an epic shot, too. I love that.
Yeah, and they're all watching him fucking fall to his death. Pretty crazy.
I got me shirt on
Nice. I like that shirt. It's beautiful.
for a Walmart shirt.
This is a snakeskin jacket.
This is a snakeskin
Where's
t-shirt.
my
And for
Dream
me, it's a
Warrior
symbol
shirt?
of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom.
So, Philip has to jump, and Philip dies. Bye-bye, Philip. And then they fucking say, oh, he sleptwalked to death.
Who gives a fucking shit?
Sleptwalk to death.
Yeah, basically a bunch of assholes. And then Kincaid, being fucking defiant, goes into solitary.
Fucking A, man.
And I feel like that's kind of stereotypical. You put the black man in fucking solitary confinement in jail in there. I'm like, that's kind of fucked up. Damn! I mean, you could have had anybody else go into solitary confinement,
Well,
but
he was the most
no.
mouthy, though, so it makes sense.
That's a pretty bad stereotype, Nick. I don't like it.
I didn't say
don't like
black
it.
people were mouthy. I said he was the most mouthy of the
I
group.
know. I'm talking about the way they did his character.
Oh, yeah.
And he sings about not dreaming, which is pretty interesting.
He sings about not dreaming?
Yeah, he's singing in there. Kincaid singing.
Oh, in the hole.
Yeah. Jennifer wants to stay awake. Max lets her watch the TV. This
Yeah.
is one of my fucking favorite kills in this
Yeah, I was
movie,
going to
too.
say, that's up
It's
there
the
with
second best,
Yeah,
for sure.
after the marionette, that's good. But I love this
This
because
was in our Halloween intro on our regular podcast when we didn't do
Welcome
Haunted
to
by Tapes yet.
Halloween. or
Doesn't he-
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
he says something similar
Something.
in Freddy's Dead with the TV because he's got the power glove in Freddy's Dead about there.
I don't remember.
But I almost wonder
Johnny
if
Depp's on the cooking show in that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, welcome to primetime, bitch. Kills Jennifer with the TV.
He never says bitch in the
I love the
remake.
transfer to Freddy on the TV, though, where it's the talk show and all of a sudden he's like, hey, bitch!
Yeah. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, I enjoyed that little scene. But Freddy's been kind of quiet with some of these other... Like, that's the first time you start getting the one-liners like you
Oh, yeah,
really...
he starts being comedic as hell in this one rather than, like, it doesn't happen in 2, it happens in this one where it starts.
Yeah, 2 is still serious enough, and, you know, and I love how they roll that
His,
with
like,
the character
portrayal
here.
in 2 is, like, the scariest, I think, too.
It's scarier than 1 because 1, there's scarier visuals as far as some things go, but there's not enough dialogue from him to really...
It has a better budget, so he's, like, all fucking... I don't know, he's
Yeah.
just horrifying.
I think 2's the most consistently interesting throughout. There's like nothing uninteresting happens, I feel like.
Yeah.
No,
I could
no,
agree
And then
with
you
that.
get
no
the
downtime.
nun in white, Sister Mary Helena, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, but this pissed me off, though, because this is some bullshit right here, because she's like... She calls science a sad choice.
Is this the one with the nun? That's,
No, she's a twat. What do you want from her?
Yeah, this is the one where the nun is a ghost or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I just rewatched all these.
The unquiet spirit
Her beam
must
goes
be
unflicked.
laid to rest. Yeah.
Well, I guess if you experience that much, like, trauma from the, you know...
Based on what we learn about her, yes, I
Yeah, sure,
understand
I get
her.
Being raped by 100 maniacs.
Yeah. You're going to be like, all right, I'm good on that front. Ever. Anything like that again, ever. Anyway,
We see
Nancy tells the group about who Freddy is, finally.
Well, you can't forget her fucking date though with Neil when Neil comes and sees her little doll, her Malaysian dream doll. They're having dinner.
I mean, I can forget about it. I did.
But
I have 3 pages of notes, and it ain't in here.
I didn't. When I got my new notebook, I didn't get college ruled this time. I got wide ruled, so I can read my notes a lot better than I used to. So I'm like, oh yeah, I actually know what I'm saying.
I get college ruled.
This is the wide rule.
Yeah, I know.
Well, usually you have the
It's for
grid.
children.
Yeah, no, it's just I don't know. I just need another one.
Don't you usually have the grids or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
What
I've
do you
been
call
usually
it?
buying the grid ones. Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
first time I bought a regular lined one in a minute. She's ready for the group. So Nancy describes Freddy in group. Everyone fucking gets flipped out about it. He was a child murderer before his death. It's been 6
That's
years.
Justin's woman's voice.
6 years since the death.
It's been 6 years since Freddy died.
6 years since.
Do your Kincaid voice.
No, fuck you, Nick.
He has a really high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have like a stereotypical voice. He's-
I'm not gonna do that and have a stereotypical voice on.
He cusses. He gets pissed. He's calling Freddy a pussy and shit.
Oh yeah, I love his.
He was at the Crypticon when we were. I wanted to get his signature, but now that I have that tape, if I ever see him again,
I just want him to yell at me.
Yeah.
call you a pussy. We need to get that.
So by the time we figure this out with Nancy and group, we realize it's been 6 years since the first movie.
Nancy.
And these are the last of the Elm Street kids whose parents participated in the killing of Freddy Krueger. Pretty, bone shaking. Get you down to the core. The group hypnosis with the pendulum. Counting down this fun.
Yeah. So they fall asleep. They're all in the dream world.
Let's get to it.
And
They don't think they're in the dream world. but
Joey
they're in
is
the
a
dream world.
fucking goddamn horn dog.
Yes.
That's all he
is.
thinks about is that poontang. I get it though.
Poontang. I haven't heard that term in a long time.
When I was a teenager,
Yeah. Pootie tang. That's all I think of.
You
Wanda
were out-
Sykes saying pootie tang.
you're out at the pool, you're chasing the muff. It's
Yeah.
from Dazed and Confused. The coach says it to this team because he's fucked up. Oh, the balls float. That's how they realize they're in a dream. It's fucking dumb as hell because Magic Kid is doing magic shit.
Yeah.
They needed to make that more clear that he was the one doing that in their dreams, and that would make sense because he realized it first.
And that effect didn't age well. I'm like, give me all the claymation and all the other stuff, but like that shitty overlay just doesn't look good.
He's the what looks like Weed Master, but I wrote Wizard Master. But see how the Z looks like another E?
It'd be a lot more interesting had he just gotten high with Freddy. Freddy would have fucking chilled
I'm
out.
the weed. That'd be my power.
Yeah, I'd be like, Freddy's so high he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm tripping balls, chalk me down.
Yeah. Be like the Freddy's version of
Let's go get
Scary
some fucking.
movie
Let's go
where
to
he gets high.
7-Eleven. I need
Yeah.
a hot dog. This one looks like my dick.
Put some mustard on it. Yeah. Put it in your mouth.
Slurp it.
gross.
Get some relish in there.
Sweet relish or
Whatever relish they have.
Is there a different relish?
Get some jalapenos
It's not
and
all
some
sweet
chili.
relish?
Get some chili.
I don't know. I don't like.
Get some chili in a funnel and pour it in my ass.
That looks like the holes in my face.
All right, we're back from that brief commercial break. Joey gets tied to the bed.
Who, Joey? Mm-hmm. By ton?
He's the mute guy, and then he gets tied to the.
Do you want to check my oil? Yeah. Show me your dipstick. Stick it in.
I'm gonna shit on your face. Oh, my asshole's burned shut. That was the jalapeno.
That happened to somebody that was lighting their farts on fire. It like fused their butthole.
I come souls.
Yeah, kinky. No, this is an interesting scene because he just fucking kidnaps him basically and like puts him over this fire pit. I'm like, wait, is he roasting him or is he just holding him here?
Wait. She says, "I'm in my dreams. I'm beautiful and bad," and has the mohawk and all that cool shit. That's cool. And then, ladies and gentlemen,
Then what?
yeah, it's titty time. Booby.
You need to have that come up on the screen.
I do. I need a graphic.
graphic that's like all blurred out.
Right.
Yeah. Mine would look pretty good on there.
Titty time, and each eye is the dot on the eyes are the nipples.
Yeah. Perfect. Titties. Nurse titties. And then Joey gets tongue-tied to the bed.
What's the matter? Feeling tongue-tied?
The fire pit under the bed.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Again, it's that overlay effect behind him, so it doesn't look that great, but it's fine.
It's one of those times that when I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, Freddy's supposed to be starting to get comical here. I'm like, it'd be fucking hilarious if when they walked up on him later, he was roasting marshmallows over the fire pit of this kid. It's doing weird shit. Like, let's just get weird with this. Let's just do some off-the-wall shit.
I mean, it's a good thing I didn't direct these movies.
I mean, yeah, they'd be really... I mean, we criticize them now, but I've got some
First of all, they
weird,
wouldn't be
weird
children
ideas.
because then Freddy could do a lot more horrible things to them. Let's just leave it at that.
I'll suck your dick if you kill me, Freddy. I'll suck your
I'll do anything not to go back to that place. What's that? Work.
I'll suck your dick. Oh, it's the same texture as a burnt hot dog.
Put some relish on it.
I like how that sounds like Christian Bale's Batman voice.
I'm not trying very hard. I'm trying to do it comedically bad.
I know. It's basically amazing, though. I'm just like, oh, man.
Put it in your ass.
The other nurse comes in. Wait, no. Yeah, the room collapses into nothing, and then the lady nurse comes in. The one that's like the nurse from...
The lady nurse?
what's that movie called? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's what she reminds
Nurse
me of.
Ratchet,
Yeah.
Yeah, the other doctor.
who just recently passed.
Yeah.
Louise Fletcher.
Yeah, because Dr. Sims and Carter... Well, Dr. Sims comes in.
Oh, the lady that doesn't want him to use Hypnosil.
Yeah, freaks out, and then those two get fired.
Use the Hypnosil, you won't remember.
And Joey's in a coma. Poor little fella. Neo looks for the nun in the abandoned part of the hospital. The wing's been closed for years.
He finds her flicking her bean and shooting an OnlyFans video.
She was just there to be the cameraman.
87.
He's like, I heard you needed a cameraman. Yeah, they're ahead of their time. They knew they needed it later.
Commander Kruger is trans. Freddy Krueger came out of a butt.
Could be.
Pregnant butt.
I'm gonna get your butt pregnant.
Well, we find out Amanda Kruger was the victim of...
Well, come on. We don't have to say... Right after I just said all that degrading shit. Now it's really depressing.
Yeah, well.
That's his next note.
Amanda Kruger was subjected to...
This is where it began.
1,000 maniacs who did
100 maniacs.
Yeah. Sorry, I think the Misfits song says 1,000 in it.
There's a movie called 10,000 Maniacs or something.
Yeah.
Find the remains and bury him in hollow ground.
I bet it was the one that looks like Freddy Krueger that actually got her pregnant.
Could be.
Could be. You mean the
Although I
cameo?
think that's the next movie, right? Or is that this one?
No, you do see a cameo of Robert Englund as one of the maniacs.
In
I
this
think.
one?
It's the next one, I think.
The next one.
Yeah, they don't show him in this here.
He was probably the one that got his sperm by.
Could be.
I like how he carves "Come and Get Him, Bitch" on Joey.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. I like that scene.
And then John Saxon, ladies and gentlemen. Do I have the clapping in here? I don't. Well, you don't get clapping. Sorry. But it's pretty cool, huh? John Saxon's back.
Yeah.
He's like sitting there with his... he has one of those big dad dicks, you know what I'm saying?
I bet he does have a massive dick.
Well, it's a thick one. I don't know how about... It's probably...
It's massive.
It's maybe an inch longer than the average. That's all. It's not like massive, but it is nice and thick. Like it's... You can't... Like you're having jaw attachment issues if you're blowing this guy, I'm saying. Thickness levels. Like my forearm, like my fist. If you can't fit a fist in your mouth, you can't fit John Saxon's
when
cock
people
in
like
there.
make the baby's
He's
arm
got a
comment,
big-
you're talking about a girthy...
So he's got a big head.
No, it's
Not
big. All it's
necessarily.
just thick. It's like a fucking like a goddamn sub sandwich, like just a big fucking meaty thing.
So the head's not bigger than the rest.
No, it's. I mean, a little bit,
Even
but not
when
like.
even when engorged.
It's an ideal looking penis. Although I feel like it's a little tanner than you'd want. You know what I mean? It's a little too tan. I feel like. I don't know why I feel like that, but I do.
Probably tastes like
'Cause-
nicotine from all his cigarette smoke, and then he jerks off with that same hand,
He's got yellow cum.
rubs the nicotine into it,
Yeah.
which is actually kind of tricky because then he uses that like, oh, you need a nicotine fix? I got your fix for you right here. But I love about how we find out he's wearing a fucking security guard uniform. He's not a cop anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you are the mayor from Jaws.
Need a
Got
refill?
fired.
Need a refill? Might have a little backwash. But
No, I don't want any of your mouth germs.
I like stealing the holy water and the cross.
Mm-hmm.
It gives the guy his license. Like that was necessary.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, fuck you and your religion while I steal it. But hey, I'm an asshole. They hid his corpse in a junkyard. And then all the kids decide to go on a dream, so we get all the climaxing at once.
Yeah.
Very much like the end of Inception.
I do like the scene where they're driving around together trying to shoot. He's like, yeah, we put him where we never thought we'd be. And then it has nothing but trouble vibes, like that great, or the junkyard, like they're driving around and they're like, hey, wait, where's Dan Aykroyd's dick nose at?
I was going to make a Freddy dick nose joke, so it's good. Didn't have to go there.
Yeah. I like that, though. The claymation version of Freddy skeleton, I like always jumping back and forth.
Yeah, that's fun.
I remember as a kid, I really thought...
I said, where's the fucking bourbon?
Yeah. That's a good line. I wrote that line down, too.
When his tuxedo, I love him.
Yeah. Oh, and then, yeah, now he starts trolling people, literally, like when he goes through fucking killing them off one at a time.
Yeah, Taryn versus Freddy. She tries to get some knife action on him.
Yeah, and clearly she's had troubles doing drugs before, so...
That's why he has the...
Needles. As a kid, I never understood that. I'm like, what's he doing? I just thought he was injecting her. She didn't like needles. And then you realize, like, oh, she's a junkie.
Right.
Huh, that's sad.
And then her little scars and shit are like,
Yeah, her scars like talk.
they're like,
Open up and like, feed me, feed me.
Eat chili out of Freddy's butthole.
Let's get high. What a rush.
exactly.
All the fucking one-liners.
I need that line of him saying,
Let's get high.
yeah. podcast. that should be Alex's intro. If you had a TV show intro, that'd be it.
yeah.
Like an animated, like Transformer style intro, like that'd be a line in it.
I am the wizard master, and then he's dead. Mm-hmm. That's a cool scene, though. But I mean, it is too. It's like they're just killing him off so quick. It's like, they didn't really get to do anything cool yet.
No. He's back in the saddle again, and I'm like, holy shit.
Freddy is back in the saddle again.
And then I just think like Extreme Ghostbusters back in the saddle, and I'm like, huh. Freddy was foreskin foreshadowing this.
Yeah. The floating door to the boiler room. That's fun, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dream world in here just is so different from some of the other ones. It's like, okay, because this one's like really fucking with reality, and the other one's just kind of like terrifying scenarios. So it's ever evolving in this series.
Freddy gets jump kicked, ninja style.
Mm-hmm.
Or Raiden style, depending
Liu
on.
Kang wins.
They save Joey.
Yeah, because he learned to talk again too.
Freddy gets stabbed in the gut and then pulls it out and licks it, and that's pretty hot.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
my dick twitched. It didn't get like hard, you know. I'm not an insane person, but like it was definitely like
it was like knocked on the door, like had a little energy.
You know what I'm saying? Just a little.
You can't see it over here because Alex hands down below the VHS tape. So,
You know what I'm saying?
and it's a hand demonstration. Yeah.
Ooh. And John Saxon gets penetrated by Freddy.
Mm-hmm. He gets killed. Yeah. Fred impales Dawn, puts Neil in the grave, jumps back into the dream world.
Oh, he has the children's souls on his fucking chest. That's pretty cool. Pretty
iconic
famous.
scene, yeah.
That's when he disappears and goes back into reality, back and forth. We kind of get a little bit of that.
And then we realize Joey, the mutant in real life, has supersonic speaking, like Sonic Boom.
Yeah. Joey yells, "No!"
And then all the
He's Darth Vader and shit.
all the mirrors break, and they think they've won. They think they've won, ladies and gentlemen. They are just there going,
Oh, and then Ghost Dad shows up.
Yeah.
Which
I've
is
crossed over.
I've crossed over.
You're like, why
I'm
would you show up in
bisexual
the
now.
dream? Like, you fucking died. Why are you in a dream now? That doesn't make any sense. Fucking assholes.
And then she gets stabbed by Freddy. And then she makes
Nancy
Freddy
gets
stab
stabbed.
himself. Mm-hmm. Holy water fucks him up.
And Neil says the prayer and dumps the holy water on him. Ashes, ashes, dust to dust. I jerked off on your bones. No.
And then, speaking of jerking off on your bones, Nancy's funeral
Yep.
also jerk off on those bones.
Interesting that they killed her off. Like, because it didn't look like she was mortally wounded. And again, it contradicts stuff earlier where he has to make you commit suicide in real life. So it just doesn't make any sense that she dies from those wounds.
The tombstone reveal. That, oh my god. You're Amanda. You were his mother.
Yep.
Bum, bum, bum.
Interesting how they make a Catholic woman not get an abortion to a future serial killer.
Pretty hot.
Pretty fucking crazy, huh?
No.
Pretty
It's fucked
crazy.
up, yeah. It's brutal and it's dumb.
Yep. And then we see back into Neil's place, and Neil's all sleeping, and then we see the light come on because Neil's a fucking weirdo and kept the fucking papier-mâché Freddy house in his bedroom,
Yeah, he probably shouldn't have done that.
implying that Freddy's not actually dead.
Also,
Done.
Bill Maher does not die in any of the sequels, so he's still out there. Yeah,
Well, yeah,
he
he's
may be out
hosting-
there.
He's hosting his HBO show.
Bill Maher, chase me!
Bill Maher, chase me.
You want a big sandwich? Big! A big sandwich?
I've heard that Bill Maher participates in one of those underground Hollywood orgies.
I believe it.
I also, I mean, I'm not alone in suspecting that he also fucks Ann Coulter. But, you know, Anyway, good night, ladies and gentlemen. That was Haunted by Tapes.